Hello, everybody. Welcome back to First Pitch Strike. This is our annual opening day podcast, end of preseason podcast. I don't know, Ethan, what would you call it?
Sure, we'll go with start of the season opening. I don't care, whatever you want to call it.
That's fair. That's fair. So, once again, I'm Aaron, and that
And
is Ethan, my co-host. Sorry, Ethan, my bad.
Rookie.
We're rolling live. I am a rookie. That is a rookie mistake. But we've got some introductions as we've got some fans / experts / whatever you desire to call them. Joining us tonight, first up on deck, is our friend Crystal O'Keefe. She is a beat writer for the Chicago White Sox and a podcaster for the Chicago White Sox. She is making her return to First Pitch Strike. So welcome, Crystal.
Hello. Thank you again so much for having me back.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us on such short notice. Up next, we're going to skip one. Sorry. But here is Mr. Paul Yarborough. He is a good friend of mine. He lives up in Montana. He is an assistant coach for the girls' high school softball team there at Hellgate High School in Missoula, Montana. And he is also the voice of Hellgate High School sports. Also the voice for a lot of championships for Montana, if I'm not mistaken. And every August, he tries to get down to California to be the voice of the American Legion baseball tournament. Mr. Paul Yarborough, I know you used to be a beat writer somewhere, but I don't remember where, so I left that off. Welcome.
You just said I'm old, and you're right. I'm not going to profess being an expert, that's for sure. But it's great to see you. I won't be able to be with you in August. For some reason, my youngest daughter chose August 9th to walk down the aisle, and apparently I have some role in that, and I will not be the voice of the Western Regional this year. I'm hoping Brad gets that contract again so we can all be reunited. Always have fun with you and the guys, and
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me here. It's been a long time since I've seen Ethan play, and enjoy following his coaching exploits. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining again, also on short notice. Sorry, but the one that did not have short notice is Mr. Reese Monaco. He is the former voice of cowboy football, basketball, cowgirl basketball, former assistant coach for Ethan when he was younger, and current color voice, athletic voice for KFBC TV for baseball and sports around the capital city here in Wyoming, and also one of the voices on radio at KFBC, Mr. Reese Monaco. Thank you for joining us, and welcome.
Well, thanks, Aaron, and I appreciate the offer. I'm glad we could finally get connected and do it this time. And I'm just to get this out there right now. I've been sick all weekend. Hopefully, my voice will hold out. And if I have to step away with a coughing fit, I apologize in advance for that right now. And once again, you did mention expert. I am far from an expert on any of this. I do have opinions. If that is an expert, I don't know if that's expert or not. But thanks for including me.
He signed me up saying that you were here, so that's the reason I'm here, Reese. So
it's good to see you, Paul. I just telling Aaron that when we were up there in Missoula, you set the standard when it comes to public address announcing, and you guys up in Missoula did an incredible job for the 2 years we were up there with Post 6 Legion baseball, putting on that tournament, and appreciate all the hard work you do.
I really appreciate it. And Montana's added high school baseball, and in Missoula we'll have teams this year, so I'll have softball and baseball in the spring. It's going to be a crisp 40 degrees for our opener next Saturday, but we're excited about that. It'll impact some of the Legion ball, but I'm excited to be doing both softball and baseball this year.
Well, that's exciting. Well, that's good.
That is exciting to see how it turns out in Montana, and I know South Dakota has it, and it hasn't really impacted their Legion baseball too much in South Dakota. They have some outstanding Legion programs there, along with high school baseball.
We have 3 feeder teams in Missoula that feed into the Mavericks, and the Mavericks are going to treat it a little differently. So some of the high schools will lose a lot of kids in the spring, and some, like Hellgate, where I work, won't lose as many. So we'll see how competitive everyone can be this first full year for the AA.
Yeah, give kids opportunities. That's one thing you can look at it is kids that normally might not be playing will have an opportunity to play in that regard. So
yeah, we're going to have a JV. We got so many kids that are going to have 2 teams, which I don't think they envisioned. So that's a good problem to have.
Absolutely. Poor Crystal's up there in the corner going, I didn't realize we were going to talk high school baseball, but it's baseball, Crystal.
I have
Hellgate and Sentinel, Crystal.
I have a son in high school right now that he's been playing baseball since he was 5. So I get it.
Nice.
Carry on.
I like it. I know when I was on your show, we discussed your son playing ball a little bit too.
Yes, although now he has switched fully. He wants to go into sports broadcasting, and it's offered at his high school. They have a career center within the high school. And so he's been taking principles of broadcasting, and he's been calling football, basketball. Right now he's been doing lacrosse. He's kind of all over the place. So he's like really focusing in on that right now, which is fun because he loves Jason Benetti and wants to be Jason when he grows up. So it's fun. He's taking my course of my path of career choices, and
I like it.
It's fun. It's been really fun to listen to him call high school games lately.
Good. Well, we're gonna go to baseball's back. I love it. We had 2 games in Japan, which was just enough to whet our appetite a little bit. So what did we learn there other than that the Dodgers know how to win?
And they did it without Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, which I think all Dodger fans were excited about. They're playing right now against the Angels in the Freeway Series, and I just got word that Mookie was scratched from the starting lineup tonight, just moments before game time. He was ill, made the trip to Tokyo, but didn't play over there, had lost 15 pounds. And as you know, Mookie doesn't carry a lot of weight to begin with. So 15 pounds is a lot. And they're not going to push him, and I heartily endorse that philosophy. He's going to move to shortstop full-time this year. And, we were excited to get 2 wins in Tokyo. Looked like an electric atmosphere, of course, with Shohei and all the pitchers from Japan going back there. And so now we get going again Thursday.
We do. And unfortunately, it was against your Cubbies there, Reese.
Yeah, it was. And, the season hasn't even really started, and they're already 0-2. So you know what? Cub fans are used to something like that, and I don't think it's too insurmountable of a hill for them to try to climb up from. But again, I know you said the season started. The season hasn't started until they throw out the first pitch in Cincinnati. Good. I know Major League Baseball wants to expand the sport and make it international, and you have the world's largest star, and you want to get him in front of people. And fortunately 20 million people in Japan watch those games, but I would say that was not even a fraction of that got up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning to watch those games here. And I just sometimes
I had to work at 6 a.m. I was already
did
up.
you? So I just think sometimes Major League Baseball just can't get out of its own way. You take 2 of the largest markets in baseball, send them halfway around the world, open up the season with a series, and then send them back and finish their spring training. And then we're going to open the season. I would say there's probably a good majority of people don't even realize that those games were even played.
And you wonder how both teams react to that travel. That's not an easy road trip. by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Well, and you can't really use your starting pitchers the way you want to on opening day either, because you're still in the middle of spring training. So you only get your starting pitcher for what, 3-4 innings? So it doesn't do the starting pitchers any justice at all either. It doesn't do your bullpen any justice, because then they don't have their roles that they're used to. It's fun. It's a novelty item, like you said, Reese, but come on, man. You gotta put that, if you're gonna do it, give them a week off in the middle of the season, send them over there for 3 games.
Yeah, or do it earlier or something. Just don't make the games count. We're just going to go do exhibition games
There
or
you go.
whatever it may be. And, you can stay there as long as you want at that point. And, I don't know. I think it's just one of those moves that I'm not real in favor of. And I understand revenue and expanding the game and all of that. But to me, I wasn't a big fan of that move.
Well, you're talking to somebody who grew up watching World Series games midweek afternoon.
Yeah.
So all of these changes, I've had to bite my lip and hold my nose, kind of like when Manny Machado became a Dodger. I had to hold my nose for a little while.
Oh boy. So we're just going to move right along. And I'm going to throw a little fun in. We usually have one steady segment where we've named it the last Diaz, Don't Be Stupid Award. So be thinking about somebody you've seen or something you've heard, be it a fan base, manager, front office, player, whatever the case is, over the last couple of weeks, where you're like, hey, yo, that's really dumb. Don't do that. But also this year, we've started another segment of trivia. So this is an easy layup for those that pay attention to baseball opening day trivia. Who holds the longest opening day home run streak?
Wow.
I'm going to go Aaron Judge.
No.
Currently playing?
Currently playing, and the streak is alive at 5. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought.
Is it Mike Trout?
No.
No, he's the birthday guy, huh? Yeah.
He's the birthday guy.
He's the birthday boy.
One of those opening home runs was against Seattle 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember.
I'm at a loss.
Yeah, I am too.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Tyler O'Neill.
Is it really? Oh.
It is. He's at 5 currently. And if he plays on opening day this year, hits another one, it'll be 6. And he broke the record last year where it was 4, and he was holding it with like 2 or 3 other guys that I don't remember who they were. But Tyler O'Neill, 5 consecutive opening days. So there you go. Well, Reese, I know you shared a little bit about your Cubs, and I know you're claiming you're not an expert, which is okay. But we're just going to stop talking the small stuff, hop right into the Cubs analysis. And is PCA the answer?
I'm not sure, Aaron. And again, I am far from an expert on this. And I know that, the Cubs have kind of been a trendy pick for people in the Central. And, if they can shore up the bullpen a little bit, they do have a top line starter, but their bullpen just blew too many saves last year. And, the fact that they tried to go after, I believe it was Bregman, and didn't get him, just kind of shows me a little bit more about the organization, and where they are at. But I just, they're a trendy pick in the Central, but they're the Cubs, and I have a hard time seeing them leap over the top of the Brewers. And the Brewers are, they're just consistent, and they're just winning. And I'm not sure what the answer is for the Cubs right now.
What about Kyle Tucker? You think he'll help out?
Well, of course he will. Yeah, he certainly is a good addition. I mean, they made some moves, but nothing that makes you just go, "Wow, the Cubs are in this for real."
That's
Aaron,
To
you and I
me,
have a friend
and
who's a
yeah, I'm talking to a Chicago White Sox beat writer here, and she's probably just shaking her head at me, going, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about."
No, no, the state of Chicago sports in general right now is very sad. When the Bears might be the best team this year, we're all kind of doomed. So no, we're in the same boat. We're just in the
Yeah,
sad
the Blackhawks ain't
sports
doing too
boat.
good either. So,
And Aaron, we have a mutual friend from Wisconsin who's a lifelong Cubs fan, and he told me
Oh, yeah.
mid-season last year he thought they had the best rotation in baseball. In the second half wasn't as promising as the first, but he was optimistic about the starting pitching. So they're young and a year older.
Yeah, and I like Steele. I like Talion. I like, I can't say Shota's last name for whatever it's worth to
Imanaga?
save my life. Yeah, whatever it is. It's more than 2 syllables. So I mean they do have a really good rotation. I'm with Reese. The bullpen is not where it needs to be. I like Pete Crow Armstrong. He's really going to be good. They got rid of Mastroboni. Unfortunately, he's in Seattle and may make the roster. But shoot. Well, will Ryan Presley help your bullpen? I forgot they picked him up. Reese?
I would think any addition at this point would be helpful, that they had, considering what they had 25, 26, 27 blown saves last year, something like that. So any addition to eat up some innings would, I think, would certainly help.
Okay. That's fair.
Excuse me, guys. I got to step away for a second. I told you, I've been sick all weekend long, and
Nope.
I need to move away just for a second.
Nope, we're good. I'll get you off the stage here. So that leads us to Chicago, other side of town, with the White Sox.
that's the South Side.
Yep.
I just love the jerseys. Those jerseys are so sick.
They are.
The black, the white pinstripe, South Side across the chest. Yeah, that's hard.
We're getting new jerseys this year, though. They haven't.
Speaking of that, thank God Colorado is too, to get rid of them ugly green ones. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. It's got to be a better year, though, isn't it?
No. So just today, it was announced that now the 6th White Sox pitcher since spring training started, since camp started, it's been a month. This is now the 6th pitcher that is going down for Tommy John surgery for the season. So, and Drew Thorpe was announced yesterday. He was one of the only pitchers I thought that could make the rotation and be good. He looked a lot like Dylan Cease did, kind of 2022 Dylan Cease. So I was ecstatic about him. I thought this is going to be our resurgence. Our pitching is actually going to perform like it needs to. And then he went down for surgery and everybody's gone. And it's gotten to the point now where we'll probably be bringing Mike Clevenger in for a closer, the man that 29 teams have passed on 3 times now. So there's that. Andrew Benintendi is out for a few, I don't know, probably 2 months at this point. He fractured his hand in spring training. So now we have Travis Jankowski, who is maybe the best player on our team, which is sad because Luis Robert Jr. isn't doing anything. He might be traded for all I know. And then, I mean, we don't have anybody, to be completely honest. Brandon Drury was on the team briefly. He was the only one hitting the ball, and they've released him, and he fractured his hand. So we're already starting off with everyone injured. Our franchise player, Luis Robert Jr., is terrible. We have no pitching. We have no prospects. It's going to be a bad year. I think the only selling point the White Sox have this year is that they put out an excellent promotional schedule to really honor the 2005 World Series team. That's it. Otherwise, I don't know how they're filling seats this year.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, they're going to somehow bring in that spirit while they're like completely screwing one of their best players who, you know, has stage 4 cancer. They're screwing him over, but they're gonna bring in all that spirit.
That's a good PR move.
Yeah, the only like really good thing they've got going for them is that they're finally giving Burley a statue in July. That's being unveiled on the concourse. Like that's, and they have a new milkshake from the S'mores. So that is where we're at in this season.
You do have a few experts in studio with you that love ballpark food. So the milkshakes might be a draw.
It's a birthday cake milkshake. My son is he sent to me on Instagram when they posted it. He was like, I need to try this. And I was like, well, I guess if we go to one game, because we were talking about going to a game on my birthday. I was like, well, I guess when we go to the game on my birthday, you can try it. But that's all we've got going for us.
Crystal, so your only draw to go to a White Sox game is to go get the new milkshake, right?
And I can't even have the milkshake. I can't have cake.
You need to substitute White Sox. You need to substitute White Sox with Colorado Rockies, and it's this entire conversation you had.
Well, see, the good news is I'm a 2-team person because I don't want to be sad all the time. So I also will cheer for the Mets. So I have like Juan Soto now that I can look forward to and not be super depressed all baseball season. But man, when I have to watch, I don't know, 90 White Sox games a season, it's going to be a brutal few months for me.
Crystal talked about the arm injuries in their rotation. The Dodgers had the same thing last year. What do we think is the cause, guys?
I go back to the pitch clock. And I'm in favor of the pitch clock personally, but I think there are too many, especially veteran players, that have spent their careers without that. And now suddenly they have to speed it up and change their stance and everything else. And they are just going, I mean, they're dropping like flies. But these younger kids aren't necessarily having those issues because they've been in the minors when they developed the pitch clock in the first place.
That's a good point.
Is it not some of the training staff as well, though, with the off-season workouts and spring training workouts and the routines? I know Ethan works really hard with his pitchers in getting that arm strength up and getting that mobility and whatever else comes along with that. Is that not some of it as well?
They're professionals. You would have to think they know what they're doing, right?
Well, yes, but I also recently saw kind of like an internal memo last season with the White Sox where they're like, oh, you guys actually have to show up and stretch out ahead of games, by the way. You need to practice more and stretch. Because I guess they weren't even doing that. That's
really
the spring. I mean, the decent strength and conditioning head coach was fired. And since then, all of the White Sox were injured. I mean, they were pulling hamstrings every other day. So that could be a big chunk of it because you're not expecting these professional athletes to, I guess, warm up their bodies before they play a doubleheader.
Well, I grew up in an era where starting pitchers went 9 innings every time. And now if you give me 5 and we can hand it to the bullpen, that's great. I don't know if we babied them too much. I don't know what they did, but Dodgers have had.
I agree with you 100% there. It's they need to pitch. They need to throw, the specialization, the analytics and all that, pitch counts and everybody coming out of games. I agree. If somebody gets to the 6th inning, you're amazed. Oh man, they left him in till the 6th inning. They need to develop that arm strength, and it starts by pitching and pitching, side pitching and doing all of that stuff, just throwing. I think that's my 2 cents. I mean, I hate to go back and be that old curmudgeon, but just go back and look at Nolan Ryan, I mean, that dude threw 200 pitches in a game one time, and he went out and threw 3-4 days later. He threw. And that's how these guys develop their arm strength, by pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine telling Bob Gibson, we're going to take the ball from you in the fifth? And that just wasn't going to happen.
We do live in a world, though, where everyone just cares about the home run at this point. And if you're getting trampled by, the top the top of your lineup just hitting home runs, they're going to pull you. And when I want to just go back to small ball, where it matters that you get on base. Like, that's what I care more about. You can hit a home run, that's cool. But if you can't just work a pitcher and get on base, then I think there's a bigger issue there. So we're too focused on home runs. And if you get behind on a count or anything, you're going to get pulled in the second inning and they're not going to care, which is another big issue I'm seeing in baseball right now.
That's fair.
I don't think teams know how to play small ball anymore. I mean, the way some of these guys bunt, they obviously don't spend a lot of time on it. And I think if you back in the day of the shifts, they still do some shifting, and they give you the left field line, give you the third base line, and they're swinging away. It's like, gosh, he's trying to put you on base here if you just hit it that way. But I get frustrated by it when you get a runner on third and you can't score a run. That's just
so yeah. I have my don't be stupid award winner, because we're talking about getting to third base and not scoring, and it's a whole thing for Nebraska. So yeah, not even pros. That's the sad part. So Ethan, I'm going to give you the floor. I know typically you just kind of hang out and talk about whatever, but do you have anything specific you want to talk about, like the pitch clock, or like now the appeal of the pitch, where you get 2 appeals for pitches?
I do like the appeals, because that just goes to show that sometimes the player knows what he's talking about and the umpire's not always right. Been there last year, got kicked out for saying something. It was okay. I thought it was kind of soft on his part, because I just said, you got to be more consistent. But it is what it is. That's in the past. We let it be. You learn from your mistakes. To go switching topics. Not switching topics. My mind is all scattered right now. Sorry. The tap on the head, I like it, again, because it also gives the batter kind of like an extra life if you foul off the pitch. Like, if you stare at strike 3 and you think it's a ball, you could be like, I know the zone, like it's a ball. And then you can review it. And then if you do end up winning that challenge, you still get to keep your challenge, and you end up getting a base hit. Wow, look who's smart now. You just helped your team out getting an extra base.
Right.
They're not going to do it this year in the big leagues. They're
experimenting. I'm just saying, I like it though. That's what I'm saying.
I like replay if they get it right. What I get frustrated with in all sports is when they have replay and still get the call wrong.
Yeah.
And you've taken 10 minutes, they put headsets on, completely stop the flow of the game, whether it be football or baseball. Get it right. If you can get it right, sure. And I like the way they're doing the pitch protest real quick, top of the hat. We'll see if they pull the trigger next year. Sounds like it.
I'm sure they will. They've got it active in minor league last year and this year. And this test, I think the test, my opinion, went over really well, but that's my opinion. I'm not much.
I need to ask people closer to the major league level what they think and get back to you.
That's fair. You might know a couple.
I have a friend who's a pitching coach in the Guardians organization.
There you go. Crystal Billy AKA, I don't know. He mentions we don't like to talk about the White Sox these days.
That is my husband. Yes.
Okay. I love it.
Yes, he he kind of forced my hand away from the other baseball team and put me onto the White Sox and now fully regrets it, probably. He also was the one who was like, hey, you should listen to this guy, Brett, that just DM'd you about writing about the White Sox. So he's to blame for why I'm here. And now I think hates the White Sox more than anything. I mean, he stopped watching baseball for like 2 years because this team is so bad.
Oh,
I like that.
Oh,
The other
boy.
baseball team in Chicago. That's like, Michigan
up
and Ohio
north.
State, the team to the south, or here in Wyoming, the team to the south. You don't mention them by
Yep.
name.
Nope. Nope.
We spent our wedding because we got married in Chicago, and we spent our wedding at a Crosstown Cup game. I didn't even change out of my wedding dress. We were there, got phenomenal seats, and I sat there as Javi Baez is hoisting this cup right in front of us, and that was an adventure.
That's like awesome. The perfect wedding.
It was wonderful. It
was. And according to Reese and a few others, you ended up in the right stadium too. So, you got anything else?
Back to the arm problems. I feel like it has a lot to do with the preparation as well. Sometimes you'll see guys not take it as seriously. Like I remember when Trevor Bauer posted his he had posted a workout routine like that he does before pregame and everything, and it's intense. It's to get you ready to go throw 9 innings. That's what the pregame is for. That's what practice is for. That's why you throw bullpens. Do they just not do that anymore? Or I'm just confused on how there's Garrett Cole's out now. Everybody's out with having to get Tommy Johns, and it's, do you do the J bands? They got to know what J bands are, right? My 14-year-olds know what J bands are.
We use them in high school softball.
They use them every day. My 14-year-olds do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So do the pros not know what J bands are? I don't know. It's just confusing.
These guys are athletes, professionals, and they have their own personal trainers. They know what to do, and they know what they're supposed to do. And, it's sometimes I just think you mentioned Garrett Cole, and, that just for all Yankees fans, that's a panic time in the Bronx. But,
who cares?
These guys, some of them are working out and getting to the point where they're big enough and strong enough that the tendons and things just can't handle the stress, it just, I'm not, and a lot of this brought on way back in the day when some of these guys were juicing and their muscles got so big, they just tore themselves apart. I'm not saying that's what's going on now, but they're working out to the point and getting so strong that their bodies just can't take the constant rotation or pounding.
Well, and you look at pitching, and one, it's such an unnatural movement for an arm. But two, I also think just the continual pursuit to add velo is adding to that stress, because arm.
Crystal nailed it on the head with home runs. It's the same thing with velo. If you don't throw 100 miles an hour, you're not going to get a second look anymore. And throw 100 miles an hour, you're putting extra stress on your body.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even when I threw 50, I was putting stress on my body. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So your husband, Crystal, says he's 1 for 2. He's a smart man.
So in the future, could you see maybe a player like Paul Skeens getting his UCL repaired? He's been hitting 101 out of the gate.
He's probably next on the list. I hate to say it.
But. Yeah, I mean, look what they did to Steven Strasburg. How much did they protect him? And he eventually ended up getting hurt. I mean, they didn't let him pitch in the playoffs, for God's sake. And it just, sometimes it'll happen. Sometimes guys are just built differently, and it doesn't happen.
You get guys that having it for a second time. They're doing it preemptively now. High school kids are getting surgeries ahead of time. I followed Oregon State baseball, still do, and they had kids that had it before they even stepped on campus on purpose. And
on purpose?
Yeah, and then they get into the pros and have to have it a second time. And Drew Rasmussen, who now for the Rays, I believe, pitched a perfect game for Oregon State. And I think he's had at least 2 and came back throwing harder than ever. That's the part I don't. Tommy John had to learn a whole new way of pitching, and we named this surgery after him. And these guys are coming back throwing harder. I don't understand it.
Well, you just saw it with Chris Sale. Chris Sale is late 30s, had Tommy John, and just came back and had the best pitching performance I've seen in so many years, and then wins the Cy Young for it. And then you see Justin Verlander too. Who knows how he's going to be this year? But I think he's 40 now at this point.
Yep.
He's had that surgery and he's still performing like prime kind of vintage Verlander. So it's really hit or miss on this surgery.
The year he came back post TJ aggravated me to no end because he just dominated.
Yeah.
So my next question is
pitching better than he did before surgery.
My next question is for the doctors. Are you using magical muscles to put back in there? Because I want that.
Well, now they also there's like another surgery you can opt for, because I know Lucas Giolito just got it, and he's back and he's taking it slow, but it's basically just some kind of brace that they're doing now.
Do they got one for my shoulder?
John, huh?
Wow.
Do they got something like that for my shoulder? Like, could they put a magic muscle in my shoulder and make it better?
Can they do that for my knees? Yeah, that would be great. But no, I mean, so some players aren't even getting that. And Lucas, like I said, he's off to a slow start, but he's looking halfway decent. I mean, but he's also used to be the worst pitcher in baseball. So that's a whole other subject for another day.
From all-star to worst, that's rough.
Yeah. Well, and
That's
then
rough.
and then he pitches a no-hitter. I just, in my head, still very vividly, I hear 2018 worst pitcher in baseball. Those commercials were everywhere. If you watch the White Sox, and then he goes and he throws a no-hitter, I'm like, okay, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're gonna skip to me. Come to my little blurb here on the Mariners with will the bats work?
Is this where we all do our potty breaks?
I mean, if you need to, go for it. It's all good.
Just a little dig at the Mariners. Just a little dig
because, yeah, no, it's all good. I'm used to it. I've been a fan for life. And I'm so used to it. I think in the realm of expecting losses, you have this year the White Sox and Cubs. Historically, it's been the Cubs and the Mariners, and I think those can be interchangeable because the White Sox have made the World Series. Cubs have made the World Series. Mariners can't get to the playoffs for 20 consecutive years. So I'm expecting more losses with hopes that there's more playoff years to come. And the big gripe that everybody had this year for the Mariners was they did not get a big bat. They did not sign an impact player. And I'm almost suspicious that was intentional. Not that they couldn't afford anybody, which with ownership, you never know with these guys. But I don't know that they really wanted to. And I say that because you look at how their first half of the season started, which was they started great, had a 10 freaking game lead and lost it to the Astros. But in August and September, when they pulled the plug, brought in a new manager, brought in a new hitting coach, they started hitting the ball. And I guess when Edgar Martinez is your hitting coach, you're going to learn how to hit the ball. And they finished the season. Edgar's like, I don't want to travel with the team all the time. So they found a position as the organizational hitting instructor. So everybody from Everett to Seattle is going to be adhering to that hitting routine and that hitting program. And then you bring in Kevin Seitzer, and I guess he was kind of good too when he was playing ball and could hit the ball. So you've got two really, really good hitters from the 90s who are now involved in the hitting program and as a hitting coach. So if the Mariners don't learn anything from these two, dude, ship them out of town. I don't care who you are. But you've got an opportunity here with the best pitching staff in baseball to turn your hitting around a little bit. Turn that hitting around a little bit, you're going to win the West. Because I don't think the Astros have what it takes to win. I'm a little afraid of the Athletics. But I never thought I'd hear myself say that again. But you have that chance, and I think that's why they didn't bring in that huge bat to take advantage of the pitching, because they trust the process that Edgar Martinez has. And I don't blame them for trusting the process. So, and then you got, the best pitching staff in all of baseball, who I'm sure, Ethan, to answer your question, I would not be surprised but to see a Mariner pitcher go down this year needing TJ.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised either.
That's just me.
You're looking for that big bat, Aaron. Aaron, you're looking for that big bat. You know what? Come July, Chris Bryant will probably be available.
God bless your soul, Reese. God bless your soul, Reese. Well, I can't find it.
If you're talking 2017 MVP Chris Bryant, then yeah, absolutely, I'll take that. But
and he probably wouldn't have played much either, so he might be available.
It's the Chris Bryant bobblehead.
Welcome to your future, Chris Bryant.
Oh, there he is. I have an autographed Chris Bryant baseball, and the value is down to about 2 cents right now. I bought it at an auction for $50. I'm way behind on that one.
First of that 2016 team, I swear.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find where they notified Rowdy Tellez of his status on the team this year, because I'm a huge Rowdy Tellez fan, not just because, he's like my spirit animal, and because he can't run very fast, and he's a big boy, but he can hit. And when you can hit that way, that's the big bat the Mariners were looking for. I don't think Miles Mastrobuoni is that bat. I think Rowdy Tellez is. But it looks like they decided to keep Mastrobuoni instead of Tellez, but I can't confirm or deny that. So that's just me. I want bats. I want to see not home runs. I want that small ball. And Robles and Bliss are those two guys that can get that small ball implemented and get it going, and let Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena take over the rest of the bats and hit those
Cal Raleigh.
And Cal Raleigh.
He just had one today after Julio hit a grand slam to take the lead.
Yeah. So, the Mariners can hit home runs, but when you're learning from Kevin Seitzer, you're not trying to hit the home run. So I'm looking forward to really good things with the bats and hopefully fewer strikeouts. So that's my little.
I think Julio needs to steal more bases.
Yeah, me too.
I don't see why the Mariners can't be in the mix. They started hot, and new manager hopefully brings a different attitude in the dugout and clubhouse. So,
yeah. Well, that brings us to the NL West. The rich get richer again. Talk to me, Paul. How? Why?
I was born in 1955, and that was the first year the Dodgers won the title. They won it again in 59 and 63 and 65. And I just thought my team got to go to the World Series every year. And this is great. How much fun, day games and all. I even had my dad pick me up once on a travel day during the World Series from school. So, and then there was that long gap after 88. And I think people, if they don't win it again a couple more times here in the next few years, it's going to be a failure. You talked about your pitching staff. Boy, I sure like what the Dodgers have done. The way they didn't have starting pitching last year and still won it. They just want, again, give me 3 innings, and we'll go to the bullpen. You're going to pitch the 4th, you're going to pitch the 5th, etc. And then they went out and got, Snell and Sasaki, and other guys are coming back from their surgery. And, bullpen guys, they had that one game in Tokyo. The bullpen went, I think, 4 innings, no hits, no walks. Everybody pitched an inning. They, got rid of Gavin Lux, is probably the only everyday guy that's gone. Mookie's going to move to short. they'll platoon in the outfield some like they always do and stay healthy. They're not even pushing Ohtani to, pitch right away. No. I don't know if we're going to see Clayton Kershaw this year. I've thought he should have retired a few years ago, but I know it's hard. I tell kids to play baseball as long as you can. And basically these are grown kids that are getting to play baseball. And but they're not looking at him till mid-season. And I think anything they get out of him is a bonus. But right now, I like the team we're going north with. That's for sure. And they're going to have to pay all these people at some point. So that Japanese money better keep coming in because, boy, in about 10 years, they're going to have to write some checks.
Well, that's because you defer everything right now.
Yeah, Ohtani's getting $2 million. He gets more in endorsements than he gets from the Dodgers right now. And, as a Dodger fan, I love it. As a baseball fan, I'm not sure, but
that's fair. Reese, I think once I was on with you on your show, didn't we talk about all the deferments and everything?
We did, yeah. I mean, it's you just kind of laugh about this now because there's still a Bobby Bonilla day with his deferred payments and all of that. And the Dodgers could be having Bobby Bonilla days in for the next 50 years. You mentioned the rich get richer, and the deeper in debt they're getting with these deferments and having to, when that bill comes due, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But right now, they are the team. I think they established that just from that series over in Tokyo. I mean, they're good. And what's fun, I mean, Paul just mentioned that they don't win it again. Could be Dave Roberts was on the hot seat even towards the beginning of last year. I mean, that dude, all he's done is just win with them at this point.
With Dave Roberts, there's a group that does not like him no matter what he does. And I think he's the right man at the right time. But boy, he's on the hot seat with a lot of people from day one. But I've been surprised at how many players have been willing to restructure their deals to go after another piece, And if you listen to, some of these guys you love when they're on your team and you don't like them when they're anywhere else, like Snell. I've never liked Snell at all. But he's talked about wanting to be a Dodger and what it means to be a Dodger. And and it's like, wow, and he goes and recruits some other guys and these guys are giving up, money up front for money in the back. I mean, how many millions do you need? I mean, I don't know. Reese lives off of a couple million a year, but I don't know the rest of us need that
one. Just the interest, Paul, just the interest.
Right. Won't even touch the principal, will you?
That's awesome.
But I'm excited. I stay up late in Montana to watch Dodger games. But I lived on the West Coast most of my life, and I told Aaron yesterday I'm used to having to subtract 3 from everything, and now in Montana I have to either subtract 2 and add 1, whether it's Pacific or Eastern. Sometimes I turn the TV on a little early.
Crystal asked me, what time just to make sure that she had the 6 p.m. Mountain Time, right? She was asking about Eastern Time. I'm like, I thought Chicago was in the Central, but it's in the East, and I'm all confused anymore.
I'm in Indy right now, so.
Okay.
At the moment.
Okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, and back to the Dodgers real quick. They're just a team that's willing to spend, and they're proving they're willing to spend. Whether it's now or 50 years from now, they have the revenue. They're not afraid to go spend, where you get teams like Tampa and Seattle and Colorado where they just don't want to spend. They want the people in the seats, but they don't want to spend. And it's sad.
Why should Colorado spend money when the stadium is full and people are showing up and they're going to games? When the Dodgers come in, they sell it out. They're making money and they don't have to win to make money. if they won, it would be a license to print money for them, for those guys, for the Monforts. But all they care about is the party deck, and making sure that that's full and there's people up there enjoying themselves. Baseball is kind of secondary, I think, at times for some of the Rockies executives.
Yeah, that you're right, and same with the Mariner executives. Well, we're going to spend 54% of our income because that's all we expect to win. Come on, man. You got to do better than 54%.
It wasn't that long ago that was the philosophy of the Dodgers. Before the new ownership group came in, they had a guy who, they called him a bus driver. He owned a bus company, and he made horrible decisions and wouldn't spend money and wouldn't go. And now they got this group in with Magic Johnson as one of the minority owners that knows what it takes what it takes in LA is, it's got to be, a little bit of glitz too. And they've done it. And barring catastrophic injuries, they better be competitive. If they're not right there again, and you get into a 7-game series, and they pay the other guys too. They're all pros, but they better compete, for a championship the next few years. Or
no, I don't blame you. So enough of the teams. We're going to hop over to the one I referenced earlier with the Laz Diaz Don't Be Stupid award. Ethan, we'll go back a couple episodes. Ethan, do you think we need to change it to the Pat Hobart award, or will people recognize Pat Hobart, or we just keep it as the Laz Diaz? For those not familiar, Laz Diaz is awful. He umpired the 3 worst games in baseball when Mariners were playing. He was behind the plate. He's also the one who routinely ejects pitchers for having sticky stuff on their hands. And Pat Hobart is the umpire that got caught allowing a poker player use of his betting apps. So he got caught having somebody bet for him on baseball games. So there's a setup. E, what are your thoughts?
What if we go Diaz and Hobart Don't Be Stupid award? Combine them.
Okay. I like it.
Just don't say the first names.
I respect that. I like,
because you got to be really stupid to give somebody your passwords and everything. But you also got to be kind of stupid to suck at your job that bad.
Yes.
It's like, I want to be nice about it, but you can't be nice about it. You got to be straight. Sometimes the truth hurts, and these people got to face it.
I umpired a lot in my younger days, high school and junior college baseball. So I pay more attention to umpiring than the average fan probably does. And I am just amazed when someone calls a great game behind the plate. I'll tell my wife, this guy's only missed 2 pitches, all day.
Yes.
And, Me too. I'm so surprised. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's
like when Pat called the perfect game, I said, there's no way he did that. He didn't miss a single call. He did that.
No. He did.
I pay a lot more attention to that than the average fan, and I'm just shocked at what is allowed to continue. They finally got rid of
Angel
Hernandez, but it's
funny thing. Like you should tell him. You should tell him.
Yep,
you should tell him. All right.
So our friend Mr. Dave Brown,
right?
Yep. He's actually close personal friends with Angel Hernandez. There is a lot deeper story to why he is no longer umpiring. Won't get into that because that's not mine to say. However, when Dave is training umpires there in North Carolina, he uses Angel Hernandez as his example because Angel Hernandez was actually one of the highest rated umpires in pro baseball. According to the schematics and the numbers that Pro Baseball put out to their umpiring crews. And I did not believe it when Mr. Brown told me. And he's like, here's the proof. And I'm like, good grief.
So
The
what you're saying is
reason
Major League Baseball did that study, is what you're saying? There needs to be an
I
independent
know,
study done
I
and look
know.
into that.
I
They're
said the same thing.
protecting their asset there.
I said the same
Well,
thing, brother.
Well, so even then, part of the reason why Angel Hernandez became so notorious is because the calls he was missing were so egregious. I mean, they were so bad. But after reconsideration, after talking to Mr. Brown, man, Diaz, and I did some numbers on Diaz and his percentages of umpiring and getting the right calls. If you don't go to X, follow umpire scorecard. Umpire scorecard is fantastic, and they grade each umpire every single night. So I went to their website and researched, okay, who had the worst calls last year and the worst games last year? And well, Laz Diaz was number one repeat offender 4 or 5 times.
And then baseball doesn't use their best rated umpires in the postseason.
No, they don't.
So I could,
they don't.
I could get a game. It's like, I pay more attention when they're walking on the field. I'll go, oh, not necessarily that it's going to be against the Dodgers, but it's going to be an interesting evening. That's with
yeah. So in light of the name change, the Diaz Hobart Stupid Award winner, my nomination is Nebraska baseball. I was watching a game, and it was only the 3rd inning. They were up 6-0 against Pepperdine. And in those 2+ innings, they had a guy thrown out at third base for the 3rd out. They got caught stealing or picked off the bases twice, and then decided to get thrown out at other bases 2 other times. And I'm like, you guys, pay attention to where the ball is. Pay attention to what the pitcher's doing. Don't make the out at third base. It's just, I was watching it amazed and had some flashbacks to Reese, you and I coaching Ethan's team, which is a horrible flashback to have because we had really good kids.
Yeah.
Just they ran sometimes the dumbest possible way they could. And I'm watching that in Nebraska. And my next thought was, guys, if you don't stop that, you get to the Big Ten play, you are going to lose. So there's my nominee. Anybody else got one?
I'm going to go with mine. This is what I was thinking about earlier. So right now, the Red Sox have yet to reach a deal with Garrett Crochet on an extension. And if they throw away Garrett Crochet, who I keep track of some of my guys. I've been keeping track of Crochet during spring training, and he has been phenomenal. Just lights out. And they still have yet to come to an agreement with him, and they don't think they're going to have one by opening day. So if they do not give that man an extension, they are the dumbest team in baseball.
That's fair. Anybody else?
I want to say the Rockies, but I don't know if it's a bad choice or not because Nolan Jones is like he's there, he's good, he's the big three, Ezekiel Tovar, Brenton Doyle. He's in the mix with those guys, but he does get hurt back problems. So I'm 50-50. I want to give it to him for letting him go and trading. Because who's the guy that who they trade for? I don't even know his name. It's now you got 2 guys. I'm gonna say like I did yesterday. You have 2 guys that are worth anything. What are the rest of the guys doing? They're just Christmas tree ornaments. It's a baseball team. You can't have 2 guys play 9 positions. There's 9 positions for a reason.
If you're gonna throw the Rockies out there, it's where do we start? How far back do you want to go?
I can go all the way back to when they gave St. Louis Nolan Arenado.
Haven't they retired the award by winning it so many years in a row?
I'm just trying to figure out what their thought process is.
Well, even as good as offseason as the Dodgers had, and it, by all accounts, was a very good offseason, there were still fans like me and my best friends we're waiting for the Kiki Hernandez signing. We want Kiki. He's a clubhouse guy, and he's the one who started throwing the sunflower seeds in the guys' faces after home run. It just says the right things. Dodger fans love him, but I kept Googling Kiki Hernandez every day until they finally came to a deal, and he's not going to play every day, but Dodgers almost got the award for that, but I'm happy with where they are.
That's fair. Reese, you have a don't be stupid guy?
I'm good right now, Aaron. I still need to think about that a little bit, but you know what? Just going back, somebody mentioned betting. Betting on games. One of the umpires gave something out. Don't be stupid. If you're a fan and you're putting money on a game or something, and you happen to lose that bet, don't be stupid and get on social media and just rip players or their family or whatever. To me, I understand you might have lost a little bit of money, but gambling has gotten so big in sports, from the professional all the way down to the collegiate level, that don't be stupid. Social media has allowed people to act and say things without having to be punched in the face for it.
Well, it's falling down to the high schools and colleges. They're getting direct messages when they miss a free throw. I can't believe where gambling is in sports now. It sponsors sports. It's across our crawl. It's more important, what you've got for the next 3 innings for your, prop bet than I can't believe it, And Pete Rose, bless his soul, I wasn't a big fan of him because he played for the Reds, but he's, a lifetime ban, and it's just encouraged now. It's just absolutely amazing to me what they've done with betting in sports, pro sports, college sports.
My favorite day on social media is while all of the Shohei news is breaking and there's an ad immediately under about betting for baseball. It's like
1-800
sports, place your bet now, $5 free that they're like breaking Shohei Ohtani news. And I'm like, this is beautiful. This is what the internet is made for.
And I want you to know all Dodger fans held their breath for about 30 days during that stretch too.
I think Shohei fans in general, baseball fans in general, were holding their breath.
He's good for the game. There's just no question. But oh my goodness,
that was a stressful time for a lot of people.
I'm still not quite sure what all happened there, but I'll take the outcome as a fan.
Right. Well, okay, so we're through that. I'm going to put a selfless plug here. First Pitch Strike is hold up. What's going on here? Oh, okay. First Pitch Strike is hosting their first ever First Pitch Strike community fantasy baseball league. And we need at least one more. I'd love to have another 3 or 5 because we've got room for 12. If you place in the top 2, you get a custom First Pitch Strike trucker hat. Ethan and I are covering the charge on, or at least I'm covering the charge on that. Ethan might.
I'm trying to come up with a logo.
Yep. So we've got new logos. We've got a few things to work out, hopefully before Thursday, so we can plug that all on socials and get that up and running as a kind of a rebrand. But if you know anybody that wants to be a part of the First Pitch Strike Fantasy League, just go to our socials. It's posted on Facebook and X, and hop on, join. It'll be fun. We've got Jacob Milham, previous guest and Kansas City analyst. He has joined. Bob has joined as well. So Bob's a huge supporter of First Pitch Strike and KFBC Radio, I might add.
Cool. Well, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
2 of us are here called games live on KFBC Radio, Mr. Monaco.
No.
Yes, you did. Yeah, we didn't send somebody up to Missoula that
I
one
run
time.
with the Sixers back in 2013, maybe.
Yeah.
Walk-off home run against Idaho Falls. They say they were dancing in the streets in Cheyenne that day.
They were. I remember that was. I can't remember his name that hit that ball. I'm trying to come up. He worked it. We'll think of it here once
That was
we're
a lot of.
off.
I
But yeah,
called.
that's not important right now anyway. But yeah, you did an incredible job for us, Paul. I really appreciate that.
Most of my money now goes into the Sixer bus fund. I'm trying to get a better bus.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Well,
Those buses are bad.
Oh, I've seen some. We're really lucky here. Missoula, our AD sends us on the big, nice, beautiful Provost buses to every road game. Then you see somebody come from 3 hours away on a school bus.
For regionals last year, they had both team buses from both teams there in Missoula. So it was real nice. They picked us up from the hotel, drove us to the field, took us back to the field. It was those buses are nice too. So
yeah. So final thoughts. Going to be really expansive. Hopefully we can get it done quickly. For final thoughts, take your team's division. Tell me what your quick thoughts are and how it'll finish. I'm looking as Houston. It's Houston. They're always the team to beat, but I think Seattle and the Athletics have the best chance to break through and finish 1-2 either direction. I would not be surprised to see Houston up there as well. It's going to be a really, really tight race, but the home team favorite, I would love Seattle to be there. If they can hit the ball, I think they'll break that spell that Houston has. So, Crystal.
Okay. So the White Sox will finish last. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I honestly think the Tigers are going to be really sneaky good this year. They have a phenomenal pitching rotation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not first. I think that it'll probably go back to the Guardians again. So I'm going to say Guardians, Tigers for sure finishing. And then maybe Royals, White Sox at the bottom, and then that other team, they'll finish somewhere.
Question for you. Do they set another record with losses or not?
So it's funny. The White Sox turned 125 this year. I think it would be really funny if they break last year's record and hit 125 losses.
Oh.
But I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to hit I don't think they're going to be as bad. But, who knows? I still predict that they're going to lose at least 90 games. So.
Well, they only won 41 games last year, so that's 121.
Yep.
To the wrong side of the column. So
really, you only need to lose 122.
Yeah, you just 122. But again, I think it would be really funny if they lose 125 for their birthday.
Oh boy, Reese, I know you're not the expert, but how do you see that Central there in the NL look?
Well, when we started, I just until somebody decides they want to compete for an entire season with Milwaukee. Milwaukee always seems to just kind of get going at the end, and I think Cincinnati and the Cubs have kind of been a trendy pick for some people. I just until they actually prove it. Cincinnati, they have a bona fide superstar in Ellie De La Cruz. They could be up in that top three. And in the AL East, it's Baltimore. With Garrett Cole going down, everybody just moved up a spot or two. And looking at Baltimore, maybe even Red Sox and Jays for wild cards or something.
Ooh. Do you see Pittsburgh having a chance?
Skeens can't pitch every game.
That's true. Okay.
That Bubba Chandler guy is good.
Yeah.
That rookie, or not rookie, but younger guy.
There's two pitchers.
A lot of this just comes down to, and which teams want to spend to win.
Yes.
And,
Yeah. Sorry, Crystal, your husband. I love your husband. Never met him. I love him. That's funny until you remember you're covering most of those losses.
I cover at least 2 games a week. So yeah, he knows my pain.
Yeah,
You know, as journalists, we know we're not supposed to root, but it is just more fun covering a winner. You look forward to going to the games.
Before people joined, I was telling Aaron, I was like, I think maybe I don't remember. I've recorded so much today, but I got to cover the lost 1-2-1, the infamous one. So I wrote the most scathing, meanest recap I could. I was like, these guys deserve it. They have put me through this pain all season. This is going to be mean, and I don't even care anymore. So it's hard to sometimes come up with other ways to say, wow, this team really sucks. Like, you really have to expand your vocabulary, your baseball knowledge, to just get people to still read about how bad a team is. That is something have figured out and mastered in the last 2 seasons.
That's fair. Hitting the West Coast, what's Chavez Ravine got to say?
I think NL West obviously starts and stops with the Rockies. And okay, you did laugh. Good.
Train crash.
I got the Diamond last year. I know you were out real hot on the Diamondbacks, Aaron. The last few years you have been. Diamondbacks, Padres battling to get in the wild cards. Giants just they get to the table and they talk to these same players the Dodgers talk to, and they don't get any of them. And and then you got Rockies. So I'm hoping there's some surprises. I'm hoping one of the surprises isn't at the top, but the Dodgers better be right there again for a couple of years. So
I get it. Anybody with a bold prediction for this season?
The Rockies will not lose 100 games.
Ooh. Can I call you out on air on that one?
You can call me out. I've already made that prediction on it. They will not lose 100 games. It might be a strike-shortened season.
Down for us on that.
It might be a strike-shortened season.
They might just play half the year.
I like that one, Reese.
What about the A's in Sacramento? Anybody looking forward to that?
We're getting there. Paul. We're getting there. Fine, I'll say it. The Athletics will make the playoffs, and they will make a run for that AL West.
I will back you on that.
And Houston. I really like what the Athletics have done in the offseason. I love the fact that they re-signed Lawrence. That is just a great move on their part. So there's my bold prediction for you, Paul. Yeah. Athletics make the playoffs and make a run for that AL West title.
I'd love to see it. I think baseball's better when the A's are better because they do it a different way. And
that would be nice for baseball to have the A's back, but you know what? I know that ownership group. I wish them no success whatsoever. I would like to see the A's win, but what they did to the city of Oakland and that fan base, and you know what? I hope they can win just because the A's have got a storied history, but that ownership is just trash.
It's worse than the Monforts.
Yes,
it really is. That's
at least the Monforts. They try to bring people in. Those guys just held the city hostage.
Yeah. Ooh, Paul, what's your bold prediction? You got one?
I don't really have one.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get up at 4 a.m. to watch from Tokyo, so.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my MLB.TV package and my little headphones.
Crystal?
Honestly, and I know I just trash talked the Red Sox not that long ago. I think they are, especially with Garrett Cole down now, I think that they've got a chance to actually run that division.
Wow. Okay. I like it. E?
Bold prediction coming in. One player that's really on my radar. AL MVP, Bobby Witt Jr.
I like it. Ooh. That
That's
wouldn't
what I'm
surprise me
saying.
either. Wouldn't surprise me.
And then if
You
I
just
had
gotta
to
beat
pick
out Judge.
if I had to pick the NL, it would probably be Shohei again, but that's just because Shohei is he's an alien and not from this world, and he's not human.
Just as a baseball fan last year, watching their games, and they're building up the hype for 50-50 and everything, and he delivers. And, and not only delivers, but, walk off, and just, it was a magical to watch him. And he's a unicorn. He's absolutely, and he seems to be happy and joyful playing baseball. Some of these guys, you look like you're forcing them to take a couple million to play baseball. Whereas any of us, Reese, wouldn't you give your right arm if you could go out and play baseball again every day?
Oh, I would go be a bullpen catcher. That's what that's all I would need to do is just go catch the pen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've always said in golf, I don't have a great game, but I have a really good walk up the 18th. And
Awesome. Well, that does it. I'm done. I appreciate everybody for joining us. What a fun episode. Thank you. I cannot say it enough for joining us, Crystal, Reese, Paul. Much appreciated. I'm sure at some point in time this season, we will get you back on, each and every one of you. Obviously, Reese, your schedule is always a fun one to have, being in broadcasting. Get through softball, baseball, Paul. We'll definitely get you back on. Crystal, it'll be a hit and miss, but we'll get you back on.
And we'll shoot for a visiting dugout with you.
All right, sounds good. I like it. So, as for us, find First Pitch Strike on socials. We are on X, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me at all three of those as well, plus Snapchat, and Blue Sky, or whatever the new one is, or Threads that I never pay attention to anyway. E, where can they find you?
Just find me on Facebook, Instagram, type in my name. It should pop up.
There you go. Crystal.
And if you don't know how to spell my name, it's only 5 letters, so you probably want to go back to school.
Crystal, where can they find you?
Well, I'm primarily on Blue Sky now, and it is just at Crystal OK. My name is not easy to spell. Just remember there's an H in it. And sometimes I still look at Twitter, so Crystal_OK. So that's where I'm at. Or Southside Socks. That is primarily where I write for.
Okay, perfect. Reese.
I can be on Facebook. I'm on the X as well. I think I have Instagram. I'm not I might not check it too often, but I do have an Instagram, yes, as well. So
that's fair.
I'm not real social media savvy, so but
we'll
work on that.
and when I do post the episode, I will tag you guys as well. So
outstanding.
Thanks
for the invite, Aaron.
Facebook and Twitter. I don't usually post on Twitter, but I look for rain delays on Twitter, and check it occasionally for injury updates.
All righty, perfect. Reese, you are very welcome, and stay on for a few seconds while it ends. But other than that, we are done. For First Pitch Strike, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Ethan.
Peace out.
Laters.